I can't believe it. We made 400,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you, and I hope you guys are learning a ton. So today I'm doing a special Q&A, and thanks to all of you who submitted questions on the YouTube community, on Instagram, and I'm going to try to get through as many as I can. So I'm going to start off with a question from Ruth Searam. She asked for a brief introduction, my age, my hobbies, and family background. So I'm 36 years old. I am Indian heritage, and I enjoy doing things like hiking with my family. I love dancing North Indian dance called Bhangra, and I also really enjoy kind of personal growth. So I spend a lot of time reading and watching videos or listening to podcasts that all help me improve myself personally. And I'm happy to share those with you if that's something you're interested in. So comment below if you want to learn more about that. Okay, so John Swallow asked, what drew you to urology versus something else? So I do have a whole video on why urology, but briefly, I think urology is the most diverse subspecialty. We get to do both surgical procedures, procedures in the office, and take care of patients over an extended period of time. I also feel very comfortable talking about intimate problems with people, and I think that it's really a special opportunity to be a urologist, and I'm so grateful that I went into this field. So J2 asked, what other jobs have I had? So when I've had a handful of jobs, I think my first job was at the mall, and I worked in a store called Express, which still exists, for clothing in retail, and it was really fun because I got to buy a bunch of new clothes, and at that time that was something that I was really into. I also worked at Target, and that was also actually a really fun job. I got to interact with customers, and I worked in the fitting room and on the floor, and it was fine. It was totally reasonable. In medical school, I did some data entry work, some kind of research work that I got paid for, and then I think that was all the big jobs I had. And then of course I went to medical school and residency, and that took up all my time, so there was really no time for jobs after that. So TH asked, what made you get into YouTube? I suppose you have a successful practice as well. I wonder how big of a team you have to help with this social media endeavor. Your audio and video are really clean. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that because a lot of this I do alone. I have a fantastic editor who helps me with my editing. So I have kind of an interesting setup. I have a desk here, and I have my camera mounted and my audio mounted above. So I do it all myself with a little remote control. And I got into YouTube because I really wanted to help people understand things that I felt like I was repeating over and over again in my clinic. And I said, you know what? You don't need to come see me to learn these basic things, and it's a waste of your time and energy. And so I wanted to be able to make education publicly available and also help people overcome a lot of the common fears that they have or misconceptions about things related to urology and medicine. And so I found YouTube as a really great way to do that. Theo786 asked, what's your favorite YouTube channel and what's your favorite food? My favorite YouTube channel is actually Lily Singh's YouTube channel. I started watching her many years ago, and it was just kind of fun to watch her as a South Asian woman go from someone making videos in her house to becoming this mainstream celebrity, and I'm really proud of all the work she's done. So it's been really exciting to watch her. As far as my favorite food, I love a lot of different kinds of foods. I enjoy pizza like most people. I love Indian food. The spicier, the better. But I wouldn't say I have one favorite. I really enjoy things that are spicy and vibrant and unique in their flavor. Jeff V also had a similar question and asked, have you ever tried intermittent fasting? So in fact, I have tried intermittent fasting. I do it pretty regularly. I usually start eating around lunchtime, 11, 12 o'clock, and finish around 7, 8 o'clock, pretty much routinely unless I've really exercised a lot the day before and then I wake up really hungry. But for the most part, I do it routinely, and I found it to be nice to have that break from eating, and it's been helpful for maintaining a healthy weight and all those things. So I actually do it, and I find it really useful. Grog had some interesting questions. He asked, what is your most positive, influential person from your teenage years? And that has to be my mom. She is an amazing woman. She worked full-time as a registered nurse and also took care of me and my dad. After moving from India, when she was very young, she moved with my dad, and they didn't have any family here, and there was only like 4 Indian families in the entire city of Buffalo when they moved here. And she tells me stories about how they came here and they would go to the grocery store and not even know how to go grocery shopping because it was so different from India, and how many times they struggled and felt lonely and away from their family. And actually they came here with debt. They came here with like $1,500 of debt and then grew their wealth through working hard and saving, and really were just amazing role models for me, both of my parents, but especially my mom, because she's just such a hard worker, and anything she does it completely, fully, and she's always a woman that I aspire to be more and more like. Love you, Mom, if you're watching. So there was a lot of questions about my family life. I am married. I've been married for over 11 years, and I have 2 children, 2 boys, 8 and 5 years old. I'm very happily married, so sorry to disappoint anybody, but I got a couple questions about what books I like to read and what are my favorite books. I enjoy both nonfiction and fiction books, but as I mentioned earlier, my nonfiction books that I enjoy are really about personal growth, and one of my favorite ones is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And fiction books, I really enjoy a wide variety of types of fiction books. A recent one that I'm looking forward to reading is The Unlikely Adventures of the Shergill Sisters. I read the first book written by Bali Kaur Jaswal, which was erotic stories for Punjabi widows. As I'm South Asian, I love supporting other South Asian authors, and I enjoy reading stories that have, portray kind of what it's like growing up as a South Asian. All right, so now on to Instagram questions. Ant-Man said, do you also speak Hindi? And yes, I speak Hindi and Punjabi. Hum dono bolte hain. Advice for a younger Dr. Malik. This is by Rudimus Maximus. Thanks for your question. So my advice to my younger self would be not to worry about what other people think about you, and really just focus on your own journey and your own path. In the Indian culture, there's a lot of like, oh, what will people think kind of conversations that go back and forth. And I wish I had never listened to that and just lived my authentic self even earlier on than I did start growing into that, because that's really something that I wish all people would stop worrying about what anyone else thinks. What's your worst habit? Well, one of my worst habits is actually when I wake up in the morning, I tend to scroll on my social media instead of getting out of bed. And that's something I'm really working on trying to stop doing, because it's not the best way to wake up in the morning. So I'm trying to start a meditation practice and just try to do 10 minutes of movement every day, no matter what. So that's currently what I'm working on, and hopefully I'll get rid of that horrible habit as well. So this question is, how do you manage to get your work done so productively? This is one of the things that I'm actually really interested in, is how to be more productive and how to maximize your efficiency. And I really work at that each and every single day. I use kind of a modified bullet journal where I keep track of my plans for the week, and I try to use that each and every day to make sure I get certain tasks done. I think the really key about it is not overwhelming myself. There's always things to do, but there's certainly times when I can only do one thing, or I won't get anything done at all. At least once a week, I spend the whole day doing no work because I need it. I need to recharge, spend time with my family. And so I'm okay with that. And that's totally fine. And so you got to find your own way so that you can maximize your efficiency when you need to, and then really take that time off and be present with your family and your friends or whatever it is you're doing. All right. And I went through my DMs as well. I found a question. What is your secret for staying so positive? Well, I would say that, I think everyone normally has lots of negative moments, and in fact half of our lives are full of negative thoughts, but I tell my kids and I tell myself all the time that it's your choice and you can choose to be happy. There's always going to be things out of your control, and you can only change the way you react to them. And so that's how I look at it. I also really try to put in things that bring me joy into my life, whether that's movement, exercise, spending quality time with my kids, reading, doing those things that really fill my cup and make me feel happier. All right, guys. Well, I really hope you enjoyed that Q&A. If you like it, let me know. I can always do more of them. But thank you guys again so much for being a part of my audience. You guys are amazing, and I am so thankful and grateful for all of you. As always, remember to take care of yourself because you're worth it.